My first guest this evening is a gentleman who you've seen frequently on television the past few years, selling cologne, sports shirts, popcorn poppers, pantyhose. Aside from these other activities, I think Joe Namath is considered by all of his peers and professional football players as probably the most brilliant quarterback playing the game today. Would you welcome Joe Namath?
Well, that was some introduction.
Was that a nice introduction?
After the year we had?
Look, you know that, well, look what happened to the Rams last Sunday.
Yeah, well, they played a hot football team. Those Dallas Cowboys have been playing good for about 5 weeks.
You know, all of us who watched that game and the people out here, and maybe you could say, all of us, and they say, how can a team play that well, especially during their last 3 or 4 games, get to the playoffs, come in and meet Dallas, which is a super game, and then absolutely, everybody says, what happened? Nobody seemed to know what happened.
Well, everyone that says what happened, naturally, are the Rams fans.
Yeah.
But Dallas, as I mentioned, had played really good football for the last
super.
5 or 6 weeks. And once Los Angeles got behind, it was over. I saw about 4 minutes of the game, and it was 14-0.
And right away you can smell it. That
It was over. The New York Jets played Dallas the last game of the regular season. And prior to the game, I had a chance to watch Dallas's 3 games before that, and they were terrific. They just kept improving each game. And when we played them, we almost beat them, but of course they were at a low emotional ebb. You know, they had clinched their championship, a division. And they got against Minnesota, won that game, and I really felt like they had a good chance of winning against the Rams, but I never expected a 37-7 game.
No, you wonder sometimes, and I suppose there's that old saying that on any given Sunday, any professional football team, a few breaks here, they get demoralized, and then all of a sudden it was like a steamroller effect.
So that's true. Any team, even during the regular season, John, the athletes, you know, you have 40 guys on each team, and every year you have 1,500 football players come out of college. So the 26 NFL teams really have fine athletes. So if one team gets hot on a given Sunday, they can beat any other team. When it gets down to playoff time, if a team gets ahead of the other team, they're all outstanding defensive teams that are in the playoffs. And once a team gets on top, it's very difficult to come back against those teams.
You want to make a prediction? I remember you the night, 68, 67 was it, down in Miami? When you went down to play the Colts, and you said the night before that the Jets were going to beat Baltimore, and everybody went, oh, that's Namath spouting off again, and you went out and wiped out Baltimore the next day. It was one of the big upsets of all time.
Well, that was a cinch. I took the Baltimore Colts out that night before.
Left them out there and went bid, huh?
They weren't used to that kind of activity.
Let me ask you this. Now, I noticed when Jaworski went out and he threw a couple of passes that seemed to be dropped, or it's probably not fair to receivers, a little anxious or something, but they look like catchable passes. I always wonder what the quarterback says. The poor guy, when he misses it, goes, you know, and he practically goes through the little kid thing and jumps up and down and rolls on his back. What does the quarterback say when that poor guy has to make that long walk all the way back to the huddle, when you've laid the ball right there in the hands and before 105,000 people? Did you ever say anything at all, or?
You know, first, I usually say, get off me, get off, because you're on the ground.
To the other guys, please leave me alone. Watch the knees.
And a lot of the time, you don't get to see what happened at the end of the pass. But it's not that frustrating because the quarterback goofs up more times than the receivers drop the ball. And any football player, when a lineman misses a block or a running back fumbles, you know, working with these guys, they're not trying to mess up. It just happens that way, you know, and say, all right, we'll get them the next play. But Dallas just didn't, or excuse me, the Rams just didn't have enough offensive punch to come back against Dallas. I don't know if anybody would have had enough offensive power to come back against Dallas.
Want to make a guess who's going to take the Steelers or Dallas? Super Bowl time.
Well, Johnny, I haven't decided yet who's going to win that game.
Depends which team you're going to take out, huh? Which team you're going to take out that night?
I didn't get to see any of the games except for about 7 minutes of the Dallas Rams game. I was boating in the Bahamas for a while. And,
were you really now?
Yes. Anyway, I'm going to look at the films in a few days and try and decide who I think has a chance to win.
Okay. Now I want to come back and find out if you're going to play next year. There's all kinds of rumors, and let's put some of them to rest tonight.
Yes,
or we'll put them to bed.
How you doing?
He came to play. That's the way you got to talk to interviews more people. We'll be back in a moment after this message. Thank you, Doc. We're back. We're talking with Joe Namath. Valerie Prine will join us. Fernando Lamas and David Horowitz. First of all, thank you for coming tonight, because I know you're out here and you're currently in rehearsal with the Tony Orlando and Dawn show, right?
Yes,
Over there to do the guest shot. When's that going to be shown, you know?
I believe on about the 13th, and we're doing something that it's a little strange to me. I'm singing with Tony.
You're going to sing?
Gee. And, well, I hope it works.
Well, Jimmy Connors went, you know, sang on Cosell's show.
Yeah, well, Jimmy's
Took
talented.
Cosell off the air. So you're going to do a little singing?
Yeah.
No, are you going to play football with the Jets? The rumors are all over, as they always are in the sports world. You're going to be traded. There's a rumor that you were going to, Carol Rosenblum would try to get you out here to go with the L.A. Rams. Are you at liberty to talk about it?
Oh, sure. Carol Rosenblum should try to get me out here with the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I'm for that. Where do you stand in these? Are there negotiations underway? Are you a free agent after you?
Oh, no. I have a contract with the New York Jets, but after last season, they may be willing to let me move elsewhere. The Jets, of course, are getting a new coach next year.
Right.
And it's going to be a rebuilding system. And, you know, I don't know how much longer I'm going to play, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 years. But I can't see why they'd want me in their plans to rebuild.
Right.
It's something that we'll have to sit down and talk about. But I'm definitely going to play next year as of right now. Anyway.
In other words, if I was Carol Rosenblum and I came to you and I said, hey, Joe, we'll get you out of the contract in New York. Will you come with the Rams?
I would certainly talk to him, but of course, Mr. Rosenblum, you know, he doesn't have good sense sometimes. Boy, he's gonna
You know him well. You know he'll probably watch this tonight, and you'll get the call from Carol tomorrow. Well, I think it'd be great if you came out here.
So do I. I'd
really,
love to.
really do.
Great weather and a great team, or a good team that can be better.
Yeah. So then somebody said you were going to retire and you were going to be up in the booth on Monday Night Football. That was another rumor was going around.
I don't think there's enough room in that booth on that.
That's a busy booth, you know. That's a busy place up there. They would only talk about football occasionally.
Once in a while.
Once in a while, mention there's a football game going on.
Gifford gets back to it every now and then, but the other two guys...
Frank really tries to call a game and says, hey, guys, there's a football game going on out there. But Howard's talking about a dancing bear he has booked. And the famous Hungarian marching ducks will be our guest. How do you get along with Cosell?
Great.
Do you?
Great, yes. We don't see each other very often. I've known Howard, you know, since I've gotten to New York or started with the Jets, and that was the trip, just meeting Howard the first time, coming from Alabama and meeting Howard Cosell in New York.
He's something, isn't he?
Oh, God.
He's something.
I like to watch him when he's not talking about football because he doesn't know much about football. And I've said this before, and he got a little upset with it, but that's the truth. Howard doesn't know football.
He's telling it as it is.
And they have another guy, Alex Karras, doing the color with the Monday night thing. And Alex and I talked one time, and it was after a play that he knocked me down. And he was a little rough on old Joe, and I didn't like it. And so we had a few words between each other. That's the only time I ever talked to him. And I figured out then that he should be a defensive lineman because he wasn't very bright. He isn't very bright. And these guys, it's fortunate that Frank Gifford is on that Monday night show.
I'll go along with you. How are the knees, by the way? Now, people know that you've had the knees, and I know what you go through before a game. You have to get those knees drained. They go in with a needle, and they drain fluid out of there, and they wrap them. You wear a steel brace and all of that business. Doesn't that really worry you when you stand there and you're standing back to pass, and you hear the footsteps, as the quarterbacks say, and you know that somebody's going to go at you? I mean, don't you think maybe if you really get hit badly, it could really, you know, jeopardize the rest of your life?
I worry about Weenie here. Weenie is a bad knee.
That's the bad knee. This one there.
This is Weenie, yeah. And my left knee is a good knee. No, you don't have time to worry about it. Go back and get hit, try to get back up. Sometimes it's no fun at all out there on the football field when guys hit you and just, they add a little extra, you know. They kind of rub your head in the dirt a little bit. And whenever they get up, they push your face in there and help themselves up off you.
And then they always kind of reach down and help you up after
Isn't
they've
that
done all
something?
that.
I mean, that's remarkable to me. I mean, there's a guy, he almost killed me, right?
Come in and
and now
cream
he's
you.
trying, he helps me up. And I say thank you like a jerk, you know.
Thank you, that was nice. Do hope we meet again. And he comes in and gives you another pop. Now, what's this story? I've known you for a few years, ever since Sonny Werblin brought you to New York, right?
Yes,
We've
sir.
spent a few evenings together at your clubs up there.
You remember?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Those were my formative years, and those were your formative years, too. We had a few nights now. And I thought, well, Joe's growing up now, and he's going to come in on time. And all of a sudden, I read last week, a couple of weeks ago, they fined you because you missed a bed check. Now, what was that about?
Well, actually, I didn't turn my clock back.
Oh, come on, Joe. Come on, it's me.
What happened? I went to sleep early and got up early, and I
Sure.
missed the bed check, is all it was.
Are you trying this out on me?
It's the first time.
First time, didn't work. I don't buy that at all. Now, who was it? I don't know. Some football retired in a book. I think he's retired now. Said admitted to being homosexual. That's true. It was in a book. And he said, excuse me. Sorry about that. And he said there were at least, I'm going to quote, there are at least 3 other quarterbacks in the NFL of a like persuasion. Now, would you care to comment on that at all?
Listen, I don't know. I can't believe that.
Trying to ask a serious question. I haven't seen you in a couple of years.
Doesn't make them bad boys.
Okay, I guess that answers that question. Not going to pursue it at all.
Oh,
good to see you again. Gotta enjoy
you, sir.
watching you play. You are superb out there. You
Thank
really
you.
are.
Good to be here.
We'll take a break. We're coming right back with Valerie Perrine.